Hi, it's been a while since I sat down to record a video. I've had work, school, MythCon, various other things that have gotten in the way of me being able to sort of sit down and work on this. But here I am now. I am still going to do these, goddammit. So yeah, let's get on with episode 2 of Madeline's AmeriMemories. So, like I said in the previous video, I submitted my AmeriCorps application on July 4th, 2015, for the winter service term for the National Civilian Community Corps. And a few weeks later, I believe it was, okay, yeah, I wrote it down. It was July 22nd. I got my email saying that I had been conditionally accepted. And I was thrilled. My God, I saw the email and I was like so excited. I even at the time I was listening to the Transformers soundtrack, the 1980s Transformers soundtrack, and like the song "Nothing's Gonna Stand in Our Way" was literally the song I was listening to when I happened to pull up the email saying congratulations, and I was just like because I thought it was gonna take like 6 weeks or something for them to like look through it and go through it, but I got it just a couple of weeks later. And so like I ran downstairs and I told my mom, and like I showed her the laptop and everything. I got accepted, and she was on the phone at the time, so she was just like so not exactly the response I was looking for, but she was distracted, so whatever. So yeah, I got conditionally accepted and then was given further instructions as to what to do and what else to fill out. It was a lot of just emails being sent, here, read through this, make sure we're going to send this to you, make sure you sign that, we need this information, please send that in. It was a multi-step process and just a lot of paperwork, not super exciting. One thing that was kind of fun that I had to do, I had to go get fingerprinted. Which I'd never done before. So I had to go to a government building in downtown Minneapolis to get my fingerprints done. And because it was, a government facility, they had, a lot of security and a metal detector and a guard and everything. And I forgot, well, I always would carry a pocket knife with me. It was a gift from my dad and it was very useful. And I liked having it, and I forgot that you're not supposed to bring weapons to those sorts of buildings. And so like I go through and they check my bag and everything, and they find the knife. Well, they look through me and I take it out. I was like, yeah, you can't have that here. And I was like, well, is there some place I can like set it or leave it? And they're like, nope, you can't have that. You cannot have that in the building. And I'm like, fuck. So I remember going outside and finding, well, in downtown Minneapolis, there's all sorts of like big like stone bowls and troughs and things full of flowers, just along the street and on the sidewalk. And so I run over to one of those and I like stick my knife inside the flowers, and I remember which one it was. So I hide my knife and I go back in and have to go through the whole process again. Eventually I got in and they did my fingerprints and everything. And I sent that in, but it was a lot of, fill this out, wait a while, get an email saying, we're still working on your application, thank you for your patience and all that, and then saying, okay, we filled this out, here's this other thing, read that, read this. So yeah, it was a months long process, Yeah, I submitted my application in early July, and I don't think I was like fully and officially, accepted and admitted until like late October. But yeah, there was just a lot going on, and it's like now that it actually looked like I was actually going to get in and like I was going through the process, and even though I wasn't like an official member yet, it was still, I was still likely to get in. So like I started preparing, and my parents helped me too, like start preparing, getting stuff together that I would need for my trip out there. I ended up trying to get a different wallet or something because I like carrying a big wallet. I hate billfold wallets. So I was like, oh, it might be nice to have like a smaller wallet or something that I could fit in my pants or something. And I got like a special phone holder that would hook onto a belt. And I also got a haircut. For a long time, I had sort of thought about getting a pixie cut just for the hell of it. And now that I knew I was going to be traveling a lot, working a lot, probably not not necessarily going to have access to a shower real often. It's like maybe shorter hair, would be easier to sort of keep up. So yeah, in like September or something, I don't remember exactly, maybe it was August, I actually went in and I got a pixie cut. Because I figured if I did it early enough and I like hated it, I would at least get a chance to like grow it out a little bit before I left for the program. But otherwise, it'd be like, having short hair. And I really liked what they did. I went in and I talked to the girl. I went to Aveda and, got the massage and everything. And, they always, whatever. Aveda's awesome. Expensive, but awesome. And, yeah, so I got a haircut and I loved it. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm like sporty and I'm practical and like I'm gonna do this. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff, a lot of, call this person, call that person. One of the things I had to do was I had to do a medical screening. And I figured, because on my initial application that I'd submitted, I did mention they did have a section where you are supposed to talk about like disabilities or medical conditions that you'd have, and I did click that I had depression, that I was diagnosed with it. And so for this medical screening, the counselor, whom I won't name, the counselor at Atlantic Region, sent me an email saying, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm the counselor at Atlantic Region, and I need to call you and do a medical screening. It should take about 40 minutes, and please give me your phone number and then times where you'd be available to do this. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about exactly, and I figured that, like, because I had mentioned having a mental health issue, that I was going to be, like, assessed, sort of, to see if I was fit for service. But I also wasn't sure, like, what entirely we were going to talk about. So I email her back, I give her my number, I give her times and dates where I would be available for a phone call. This is in late September of 2015. And yeah, so I give her my contact information, and I wait at the time we had established. I sit in the basement, like, where I have some privacy, and I've got like some medical paperwork out in front of me because I don't know what she's going to want to know or what she's going to want to talk about. And I sit there and I've got my phone and I've got like some scratch paper and a pen, and I'm like, okay, I am ready for this, and I don't know what's going on, but okay. And I wait, and I wait, and there's, it gets to be like 15 minutes passed, 20 minutes passed, half an hour passed, 45 minutes past the time that we'd agreed on, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And like, I knew at that time there'd been like a threatened government shutdown, and because AmeriCorps is like sort of connected to the U.S. government, there might have been a reason for that, but I also wasn't sure. And I also figured it's like, well, if something went wrong, it's like, shouldn't she have like contacted me or something? Because I'm getting it's now like over an hour past the time that we'd agreed on. I've been sitting in the basement, over an hour. Like, I'd set aside time for this, and I'm like, we should have been done with the phone call by now. What the hell's going on? And it gets to be, I'm sitting there, and at that point, I'm like, I'm not even expecting a call. It gets to be like an hour and a half, and like, we're about to have dinner, my family and I was just like, what the hell? Like, I sat down with everything, and like, I'm working, so, I don't exactly have all the time in the world to do this. But, yeah, so I arranged for a call from this person, and I never got it. And I can't remember if I tried to call her or not, but regardless, I couldn't get through. I never got into contact with her. So after that happened, I sent an email to her saying, Dear Counselor, this is Madeline, the AmeriCorps applicant you spoke with yesterday. Due to the fact that our 4:45 p.m. Central Time over-the-phone medical screening on the 29th of September did not occur, I would like to reschedule. I am available at 4:45 Central Time tomorrow, August 1st, and at the same time the following day. I would be willing to try something early in the day, such as 8:30 a.m. Central Time on both of those days. If these times are not possible for you, please let me know so I can arrange for time off from work. Just very straightforward, kind of saying, it's like, okay, obviously our call did not happen, and I wanted to be very specific about like the times and everything, because obviously, when she's dealing with applicants from all over the country, we're all in different time zones and all that sort of thing. So I just wanted to be very, thorough and specific and, make sure all of the information was just so. So I get an email back from her. So she writes me, "Please be careful of your tone. I am here to help you. It did not occur because of the looming government shutdown, and I have to be responsible for 2 cores. I am here to help, but be mindful, ellipses. I am not available until Friday at 8:20 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern." So I write an email to this person, this woman, saying that, okay, we had arranged for this phone call. It didn't happen. I didn't know why it didn't happen, and so I just emailed you saying, like, okay, I'm available at these different times, basically, and, can we please reschedule? And I basically get tone policing. Like, I didn't even think I was being, like, rude or snotty. I mean, I was kind of irritated, but I didn't think that came across in the email. But yeah, I read this email. I was just like, what the hell? Like, I didn't mean to come across that way. I was just like, I was just trying to be, specific. And so I respond to her, "Counselor, forgive me. I intended no disrespect. I am anxious to be fully admitted into NCCC and got a bit impatient. I also wanted to be specific and clear about what times I was available, since I'm sure you've got a lot on your plate. Once again, I apologize and look forward to meeting you." So yeah, I just decided to be, like, extra polite and apologize for her not calling me. just because I was still, like, kind of weirded out by that email. It's just like, what do you mean, watch my tone? Like, you were the one that kind of dropped the ball on this. I realize that you've got a lot to do, but don't you think I at least deserve, like, a notice or something of the canceled phone call? Like, at least send me a quick email saying, hey, sorry, there's things going on, we can't do the call today, instead of just having me sit in my basement for over an hour waiting for you. So yeah, then she writes back, "You are fine. I just have to be mindful that I did not intend to stand you up. Once you are a member, which you will be, and mine, ellipses," she was fond of those, "I take care of people. Today I have many anxious members, ellipses. So very sorry." No period. That's the thing about this woman. She used lots of ellipses, but then she wouldn't end her sentences with periods either, which, I'm a slight grammar Nazi, so it always kind of bugged me. It's like, okay, she either uses no periods or she uses all of the periods. So that was just a little thing that I noticed. But I guess that's not really here nor there. Yeah, so we did end up rescheduling the call, and I talked to her for a little while, and we didn't really, I can't even remember exactly what we discussed, but we didn't talk about, like, my depression was never brought up. I think maybe it was mentioned, but it was never really gone into detail about, which I thought was a little odd, because that was an actual, like, medical issue that I brought up on my application. So yeah, I don't even, it's been a long time, and I don't remember, because it was a lot of, like, technical information and stuff that I was going through over those few months, so I don't remember what specifically we discussed, but I remember it was not really what I expected, and the overall tone of the call was sort of like, I am probably going to get in, and so we're just kind of setting it up. It wasn't really about whether or not I was able to get in or fit to get in or anything like that. So we did that, and yeah, so late October was when I finally got, like, officially accepted, and I got my welcome packet, sort of explaining what to expect and what to bring, and explaining that I'd be getting, everyone who gets accepted is given a green military-style duffel bag, which they get to pack their things in when they go. And also, your flight or other means of transportation to the campus is paid for by AmeriCorps. You do not have to arrange for your own transportation to go to your AmeriCorps campus, wherever it is you get sent. Part of the application process is explaining like where you live and like what airport you're nearby, or if you decide to take the train or some other thing. That's all, you have to submit all of that, and then they make the travel arrangements. Like, I was basically told, eventually, it's like, okay, you're going to be leaving on this day at this time on this flight. You know, I was given my own tickets. But, so yeah, I got officially accepted in late October, and I was thrilled. And so one of the higher ups at Atlantic Region sends us an email welcoming us and telling us that we should be expecting our packets soon, and that there was a Facebook group for our class, class 22, and that we should, you know, go on there and meet each other and make friends. So I joined that and kind of talked to people. It was a lot of people introducing themselves and you know, just kind of reading through those. I posted part of my my application essay as part of my little self-introduction, since that was kind of a big part of why I was joining, you know, was the whole, I wanted to find a way to fulfill myself, and the fact that I'd had this sort of long journey with depression and feeling like I wasn't worth anything and feeling like I wanted to do something. You know, that was a big reason. And I got some really nice comments back from people saying, "Oh yeah, I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with that too. I've felt that way." You know, it was really nice, you know, getting these comments from people. People would ask each other, you know, what books do you like? Are you bringing any books? You know, what movies do you like? Is there anyone into like DC and Marvel? Is there anybody who likes anime? Who wants to like do yoga with me? You know, it was everybody kind of talking to each other. You know, so are you guys single, or are you gonna like be leaving a boyfriend or girlfriend behind? Who here's LGBT? You know, and just a lot of conversation, and some people were more active than others, understandably, but it was still nice, I guess, having the benefit of modern technology to kind of at least kind of learn people's names, and sort of get familiar with people before we actually all met in February when we arrived in Baltimore. So yeah, one of the things that they had us do once we were all sort of accepted is there was going to be a conference call that we were all supposed to come in and, you know, call, and then we were actually going to talk to people at Atlantic Region and ask questions and, you know, voice concerns and that sort of thing. So they tell us, you know, okay, there's going to be a call at this time, and, you know, call this number and, you know, try to get in. I called several times, and I was not able to get into this conference call. And I, you know, went to the Facebook post and said that, and a lot of other people were saying too, "Hey, I can't get in, I can't get in." A lot of people could not get into this call, and so the people that were actually involved in this call were like posting things on Facebook, like they were like posting the notes or the minutes or something, and then we were all like asking questions in the comments on the Facebook post, and they were trying to answer it. So it was just this weird big convoluted thing. They tried to get us in on this conference call, and we couldn't. So it's like these handful of people that did actually manage to get in. Yeah, it was really disorganized and convoluted. And yeah, they told us, you know, they gave us specifics for bedding. You know, it was the beds at Atlantic Region were going to be twin longs, so we had to have sheets for those. And that our duffel bags couldn't weigh more than 50 pounds, and you know, just various other little details. The fact that we had to know our boot size because we were going to get fitted for boots when we came there. And yeah, they told us that we were going to be receiving these green duffel bags that, you know, we'd take on the airplane with us 2 to 4 weeks prior to departure. That didn't happen. A lot of people, like, I was waiting for mine and like was kind of, you know, anxious and nervous and like wanted to get ready to do this, and yeah, I was like waiting and it gets to be like a week before departure and I still don't have my bag, and like a lot of other people are posting in the Facebook group, "Hey, I don't have my bag either." I swear a couple people didn't even get their bags until like a day or two before they were supposed to leave. Like they were supposed to mail us these duffel bags, and yeah, I got mine less than a week before departure. and yeah, I was stressing out about how to pack it. I did a little bit of research about like what other people had packed and what they suggested you pack for AmeriCorps, and a lot of them said don't bring a ton of clothing, especially shirts, because with all the different projects you do and all the organizations you help, you're probably gonna just grow t-shirts. Like you're gonna get like free shirts from all the different things you do, so don't bring too many of those. Plus, you're gonna be wearing your uniform a lot of the time, so you don't need a ton of civvies. So yeah, not a ton of shirts, like couple pairs of pants, obviously, unmentionables, socks. My mom bought me for one of my Christmas presents was actually a bunch of long socks, like long woolen, like insulated socks that were supposed to be really good for cold weather and wick away sweat. Just good, especially since we have like the work boots. I didn't know if like regular standard socks were really going to cut it as far as like chafing and whatnot. They ended up working just fine, but that was later on that I realized that. So yeah, I got a bunch of long socks, in case I was working in the cold or sweating. Socks that go up to your knee. Yeah, just packed some toiletries. I got a special like toiletry bag, like a green one from what was it, LL Bean, I think. Yeah, I don't remember, but I got this really neat little travel bag with like a bunch of zippered pockets and like little places to put things, and like you put your shampoo in one side and I had my contact solution in the other and toothpaste in the other, and it was really cool. It was green, and I put a little Yoda keychain on it to personalize it. It matched. I love Star Wars. So like I packed all of that, and like I got a backpack ready, as a carry-on, and started charging my laptop. And there is this one thing, there's this weird AmeriCorps tradition where when you get your green bag for NCCC, you take a picture of yourself standing in it. I don't know how this came about or why it's a thing, but yeah, you look up pictures of people who got their AmeriCorps bags, and it's people standing in them, holding the bag up to their waist. And then a lot of people also will do the opposite and put the bag over their head. So I followed tradition and did both of those pictures, and my cat was very concerned. Yeah, so finally got my bag and got everything arranged, and like sort of was familiar with people on Facebook, not really, but it got to be the point where it was down to the wire. I was about to leave. And it was the last day of I remember the last day of work I had before leaving. My job was nice enough to I didn't have to quit my job. I was about to put in my 2 weeks notice, but then my supervisor told me, it's like, oh, as long as you're back within 12 months, you can just go on leave. Like, just, take a leave of absence. Like, you don't have to quit. Like, and then you can just call and say when you're coming back, and then we'll put you back on the schedule. And I was like, oh, well, awesome, thanks. I don't have to worry about looking for a job when I'm done with this. That's awesome. See, I remember my last day of work, like I worked in a produce department, and I went into our back cooler, and it's like I kept getting splashed by things and doused by things. Like I remember picking up a bottle of juice and it had broken, and so I got splashed all over myself. And then I picked up a box of vegetables, chilled vegetables that had like some ice that had been sitting on top of it that had melted, and like I picked up the box and like the ice water just came on top of me. And then I kept getting like, 3 times I got like christened. And I was like, yeah, my job is blessing my journey, into the unknown, I guess. So yeah, so I left my job. One of my coworkers was actually nice enough to buy me some coffee on my last day, which was nice of him. I appreciated that. So yeah, I left, got my bag packed, and then we arranged to have my grandparents and my great aunt over, like a night or two before I was scheduled to leave. Just sort of as a goodbye dinner. And before they arrived and before my dad came home from work, I was sitting with my mom and like we were talking about it, and I started crying, and like I broke down. Like I was excited to go and ready to go and felt I needed to go and do this, but I remember sitting and just kind of breaking down, and I said to her, what if this goes wrong? what if this ends up like college? What if I go and do this and it doesn't work? What if I break down? What if I fall apart? What if this isn't all that I wanted it to be? And she sat with me and she comforted me and reminded me that I've grown more, I've gotten more experience, and I'm not in the place that I was when I was in college, and I'm in a better position now to do this, and that I have people that I can talk to or lean on. If I have a better grasp on how to take care of myself. If I have a problem, I know how to ask for help now. And my grandparents arrived while I was still crying. But yeah, I kind of had a moment of anxiety. I don't believe it was premonition. I don't necessarily believe in premonition, but definitely a moment of worry and anxiety about, what if this goes wrong? So yeah, so I get up and I remember, I'll have to look up again maybe for the next video when exactly my flight was, but I remember I had to get up very early in the morning to get on my flight to Baltimore, and so my parents, I got up and I hugged both of my kitties goodbye. They were very concerned. It's like, there's bags packing and you're all up at an hour when you're not supposed to, and we're all getting hugged, and you better feed us at least, because what's going on? my poor babies. So yeah, we left. I carried my own duffel bag. My dad offered to carry my duffel bag, and I was just like, nope, I'm carrying it. Had my big backpack and duffel bag and went to the airport, and yeah, my parents saw me as far as they could go, and they hugged me goodbye. And I remember my mom hugged me, and she whispered in my ear, "Just keep swimming." My favorite movie is Finding Nemo, and obviously that's a very famous / popular line from that movie, and it fit the situation, I think. Just keep swimming. That was the last thing she said to me before I went to the gate. So yeah, I went to the gate, sat and looked out the window at all the planes coming by, and was well, I was excited. I didn't know what I was getting into. Good Lord, I didn't know. But I was ready to go. This is the first time I was going to be in an airplane by myself. I was going somewhere by myself. I was doing something by myself. And I was going to make the best of it, goddammit. And so next video I will talk about the trip over and the arrival in Baltimore and how all that went down. So thanks for watching. See you hopefully not too long from now with another episode of Madeline's AmeriMemories.